Really appreciate all the VCU fans who have come out here tonight for the Shaka Smart Radio Show. Coach Smart.
How about Mike Litos on that call?
A man of few words.
I always got to bust his chops because I tell him, Travion Graham hits this unbelievable shot to win us a game, and you got nothing?
He's a writer. He's still getting used to the whole radio thing.
Well, and he wrote some really nice things about it, so we'll let him off the hook.
Well, he'll be on the call tomorrow night. We're going to talk about Stony Brook, but that UVA win, we look back at some of the highlights, and that obviously is a win that it paid dividends early in the season, and we think it'll pay dividends come March. And the win against Belmont, the win against Eastern Kentucky, all sort of highlights as you kind of wrap up your non-conference schedule.
Well, and, what you have to do is obviously play the game that's at hand, and after the game, you actually turn into that team's biggest fan. You start rooting for them for the rest of the year because the better they do, the better that win ends up looking. And to be honest with you, Greg, that's not a perfect system.
Sure.
Some teams are better at different times of the year. Some teams may get up to play against you, but not be as up in the next game. But it is what it is. That's how they measure things for the NCAA tournament.
Well, it's been a huge debate every March. Is it fair to put so much weight on games in November, December, which is when the non-conference games and there's opportunities to play outside, your league occur?
Yeah, it's just the makeup of the schedule. I mean, that's when you're going to play some of those games. So I don't see that changing.
No, not at all. Stony Brook. How'd this game get scheduled? Stony Brook.
We scheduled it. It's it's one of the games that we chose to play them. They chose to play us, and like I said, Mike Morrell and I worked together on the schedule. We noticed that last year they won 25 games, that they won their league, that they had a top 100 RPI, and we noticed that they had quite a few very, very good players coming back, including Jameel Warnley, who's a returning first-team all-conference player. So we need to do a really good job on these guys and understand that they got Warney, they got some really good guards. One of their guards, Anthony Jackson, actually played with Rob Brandenburg in high school.
Oh, really?
Graduated the same year as Rob. So this is a team that's very, very capable, and we need to be ready.
You said they're physical. I mean, they got some big guys.
Very physical. This kid Jameel Warney, he could play anywhere in the country. He's averages a double-double. There's been one guy at VCU. See how sharp you are, Greg.
Oh, man.
That was first team all conference all 4 years. Who was that?
Dominique Jones.
Kendrick Warren. Okay. Jameel Warney is on pace. Now, he's only a sophomore, but as a freshman, he was first team all conference. And this year, he's averaging way more points than he even averaged last year and rebounds. So he's a guy that's very, very capable. Big challenge for our bigs, and they also have some real experienced guards.
Have they faced much pressure like you're going to throw at them tomorrow night?
Well, we'll see. I mean, we like to think that hopefully ours is different than what other teams do, but they have played against a couple other teams that press. They played Loyola, for instance, earlier in the year that pressed quite a bit, used some diamond pressure, but hopefully ours is different, and hopefully ours is one that can create some style of play and some tempo.
No question about it. Talk about what you want to see from your guys tomorrow night. Obviously, you played on Saturday night in Brooklyn, but the games have been sort of few and far between, and a lot of practice. And are the guys anxious to get back on the court?
Yeah, they're excited to play, and it's been a while since we've played at home too.
December 17th.
Yeah, so we're excited about getting back on the Siegel Center floor more than anything, because that crowd that we have is terrific. It gives our guys energy. You asked what I'm looking for from our team. I'll give you three things. Just looking for us to be unbelievably connected as a team. That means pulling for one another. That means talking at a high level. The next thing is on the defensive end to continue making progress there. Really pleased with the steps that we've made in the last few weeks. And then, the third thing is just on the offensive end to do a better and better job sharing the basketball. We've really made progress. Our assist-to-turnover ratio is better over the past few games than it was earlier in the year. So just getting other guys' shots. You don't have to hit a home run every time you have the basketball in your hands. Singles and doubles will get it done. So those are some things I'm looking for.
Now, you're not referencing like three-pointers versus two-pointers. Are you talking about a high percentage shot and a low percentage shot?
A wide open three-point shot is great, and we'll take that all day long. I told Melvin Johnson, and I'll just put it out there right now, because I'm big on saying these sorts of things. I said Travion Graham could be the all-time leading scorer here. Melvin Johnson could break B.A. Walker's all-time three-point shooting percentage if he focuses more on getting great three-point looks and then letting the ones that are not good shots, whether they're from 3 or 2, letting those go. And I think he's gotten better and better at that. He got a lot of good looks, obviously, in the Virginia Tech game, and a lot of that has to do with his teammates finding him.
Do most of the great shooters, you think, struggle sometimes with shot selection early in their career?
Well,
is that something that you have to sort of evolve into, or some guys just sort of
some guys, everybody's different. You know, to be honest with you, with shooters, it's more early in their career a issue of being ready to shoot. That's what Troy Daniels went through early in his career. You know, I had so many people coming up to me saying, "Why are you playing Troy Daniels? You know, why do you have him in the game? He stinks." I had multiple people tell me that he's no good. Well, guess what, guys? In the next month, he's got a great chance to be called up in the NBA, and that's because he can flat out shoot the ball. Melvin can shoot it almost as well. Really, I mean, he's really, really close to that level, and he's only in sophomore year. So, Doug Brooks, another guy who can really shoot. But what Doug's going through right now is what Melvin went through last year, what Troy went through early in his career. Half the time he catches the ball, he's not ready to shoot. And those are the times where he shoots it off the side of the backboard.
And by ready to shoot, you also mean feet set, shoulders square, like that whole, you've talked about that process before.
Yeah, it's mentally ready and physically ready. So, you know, all the things that go into your shot process, being low, having your hands and feet ready, having your hands out, you know, being in a stance, those are the things that go into being shot ready.
Obviously, a lot of folks have been looking at some of the other results, and the Atlantic 10 has caught a lot of people's eye. Obviously, VC was picked to win the league. UMass right now is having a great season. GW, how aware have you been of just what's going on in the rest of the Atlantic 10 conference?
Well, you know, you see the scores, and, you know, Scott Day does a great job of keeping you updated on what's going on in the league. So, and, you know, quite frankly, for the next, or really from November 8th until league play starts on January 8th, you pull for the teams in the league.
Right.
You want them to win. You want them to do well, because the better those teams do, again, the better your numbers are going to look at the end of the year. You know, I think our league has had some terrific wins, has really, you know, presented itself well. You mentioned UMass. They've been phenomenal. Really played great basketball. I think St. Louis has been right up there as well. They only have 2 losses, and that's to Wisconsin, who's undefeated, and Wichita State, who's undefeated. And those losses are by a combined like 9 or 10 points. So they're right there. GW as just a completely different team from last year in that they've added a lot of shooting. You know, last year they didn't make a lot of shots from outside, but now they do. So those are 3 teams. Dayton's been really good. You know, Richmond's done some good things. You know, George Mason's had, you know, a lot of different teams have had their moments, and so it's going to be a heck of a conference race.
I always get the feeling that things that surprise us, maybe as fans, as media, don't necessarily surprise coaches. Just maybe you have a better feel for personnel or what a team has, who's going to be good, who isn't.
No, I'm not surprised by any of those teams doing well. In fact, I had a feeling that, you know, GW was going to take a really good jump. UMass was a team that did not get a lot of attention coming into the season, but let's not overcomplicate it. They have the best player in the league back, as well as several other very good players off a team that won like 24 games last year. So It all adds up, and a very good coach.
Winding down the Shaka Smart Radio Show here on ESPN 950, live from Home Team Grill on the Fan. Hey, I want to talk about a couple of off-the-court things. I think a lot of people out here and the folks listening saw this video that went viral of several members of your basketball team over at Children's Hospital. Talk about how that got set up, and were you surprised that the guys who were there at Children's Hospital that day got so much attention with the video?
Well, to be honest with you, Greg, we really didn't set up the video, and we didn't really know, even though it was going to be a video. Dwight Perry from our staff organizes our community outreach from our staff and our program, our players, and it's something that's really important to us. And, you know, Dwight and I talk on a regular basis, and we make sure that at least once every week or two, we're doing some type of outreach, whether it's going to, like we went to Mila Burgess's school the other day, whether it's Shop with the Rams that we had about a month ago, or, you know, events like this where we go to a hospital to see some kids who are a little bit down on their luck. So this was just a case where 5 of our guys and a couple coaches went to Children's Hospital to spend some time with kids. We've done it before several times, but in this specific instance, a couple days after they went, someone sent me a video of them. It was just kind of raw footage of them singing the song Roar by Katy Perry with these kids, and you could just tell our guys were just so into it and having so much fun with it, which is not surprising. So you saw that, and it was really neat, and it just gives you an added appreciation for your guys. But then it was probably like a month later that this video that you're referencing that kind of got out on Facebook and Twitter came out, and everyone started talking about it.
National media, I mean, it got picked up, and I mean, everybody tries to create a viral video, and again, not something you tried to create, you just happen to be part of it. But I think it speaks a lot to your guys that it was so genuine. I think that's what came across and touched so many people, that your guys were so genuine in their interaction with those patients.
Well, when you go and you do something like that, you end up kind of developing a bond with the people that you're with, even though coming in you didn't even know them and they didn't even know you. And what was so neat about that, and really every single time that our guys do any type of outreach in the community or spending time with people, is the guys let their guard down. And they don't worry about being cool, and they don't really worry about how they're going to look, and they're not. To be honest with you, if you told our guys, hey, we're going to film this video and it's going to be seen by thousands and thousands of people, it wouldn't have been as good.
It wouldn't have been. Right.
Guys like Javonte Reddick, Melvin Johnson, they probably wouldn't have let themselves go as much as they did, but that was the great thing about that specific event.
You mentioned Shop with the Rams. You can go on VCU Athletics YouTube channel and see the video for Shop with the Rams. Same thing. They're putting on Iron Man masks, having, lightsaber battles. I mean, they were having as much fun as the kids when you took about 50 kids from the Boys and Girls Club to Target to shop for Christmas.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun, and Target, they really make that happen by providing the gift cards that they do, so we're so appreciative of their partnership, or the partnership that we share. But it was great, with our guys taking those kids around the store and spending time with them, and it's an opportunity for these kids to get Christmas gifts for themselves and their families that they wouldn't normally get. And I think our guys, they have an appreciation when they get to take part in that, because some of our guys see some of themselves in these young kids, and that's what it's all about.
One last thing, you are once again participating in the Infinity Coaches Challenge, and the voting starts next week.
It does.
On January 6th. I was talking to David Young, the executive director of Friends Association, who you'll be supporting once again. So we want to make sure we get the word out every single week on the radio show so folks can vote, and we're not going to let Ohio State or anybody else take the top spot this year.
Well, last year in the Infinity Challenge, we made the Final Four.
Yeah.
And then we came up short. Thad Matta and Ohio State and their charity won the whole thing. In fact, they won by a lot. They had a voting machine. So we're going to regroup, and certainly making the Final Four is a heck of an accomplishment, and we want to do that again, but we want to shoot for winning the whole thing. Maya has done some unbelievable work with Friends of late. Her campaign so far has raised tens of thousands of dollars, and our goal is to get over 100, which we're very, very confident that we'll be able to do. But with this Infinity Challenge, it's just another avenue, another opportunity to raise both awareness and money for an unbelievable organization and Friends.
A lot of people around Richmond wearing Friends RVA T-shirts. That's for sure.
There are, and Maya just informed me that we can get a sweatshirt or a long sleeve, so you'll see me in those. Because the way the weather is right now, I'm not going to be wearing a lot of T-shirts.
Tomorrow night, Stony Brook, VCU at the Siegel Center. Just your final thoughts as you get back on the court tomorrow night.
Well, biggest thought is it's a 9 o'clock game.
Yes.
All right, so don't show up at 7. I mean, you're welcome to. I'll be there at 7. But the game's at 9, and we're excited because, again, our guys have been off from playing since the BC game. We've been practicing, but if you're a player and you've been off for several days, you're chomping at the bit to get back out there on the court. It is a high quality opponent, and our guys understand that. So we're excited about playing against them, and seeing if we can finish off our non-conference schedule on a great note.
Great stuff. Best of luck against Stony Brook.
Thank you.
Thanks so much. That's Shaka Smart, head coach of the VCU Rams. Quick timeout. We'll come back, wind things down here on the Shaka Smart Radio Show, live from Home Team Grill and the Fan on ESPN 950.